So this is just us two friends talking here. I'm going to talk off the cuff about getting a VA loan after bankruptcy. Okay. This is a good topic for me because although I've never filed bankruptcy, I work with a lot of people that do. And I know and understand that bad things happen to good people. You've got most of the time, bankruptcy is something that's totally out of your. Very rarely do I see a bankruptcy that was made by bad decisions. Now, bad decisions can be a part of that, but usually it originates with somebody loses a job out of their control. Somebody has a health issue, you get sick and you can't work out of your control. A divorce is a very common reason for bankruptcy. So I understand that bad things happen to good people, and I don't feel like you should be penalized for that. Okay, so now let's talk about VA loans real quick. So the VA actually does not have a minimum credit score requirement. Okay. The VA doesn't care what your credit score is, but they do, however, have content requirement. Okay. So the VA sets some specific guidelines. For example, if you've got a big derogatory item on your credit, such as a bankruptcy, they say that you need to be at least 12 months past the bankruptcy. Now, there are some exceptions to that, and let me talk about those real quick. If you are in a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, there's two types of bankruptcy. There's Chapter 7, where the judge wipes all your debt free and clear, said you don't have to pay anybody back. You're never going to be able to repay them anyways. You don't make enough money. We're just going to wipe this debt free and clear. Chapter 13 bankruptcy usually is given to those who don't have out of control debt. They've got good jobs and they are able to repay the debtors. And the right thing to do is, if you owe somebody money, you want to settle up with them and pay them, right? Bankruptcy just kind of gets them off your back for a little bit. So if you're in a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, before the bankruptcy is fully discharged, the judge can approve that you buy a house immediately. The judge has to sign off on it. So how that process works is you come to me, we get you file underwritten by an actual underwriter. It has to go through underwriting. And then we take that to the judge and the judge says yay or nay. That's it. So you get a mortgage pre-approval and then judge signs off on it. Your attorney needs to present it to the judge. Probably going to pay an attorney a little bit of money to do that. It's going to cost you a little bit of money, but if you want to buy a house during a bankruptcy, that's what you're going to be up against. Once the bankruptcy is discharged, okay, 2 years, boom, said and done, 2 years, okay? Chapter 7 and Chapter 13, you've got a 2-year wait. Now, you need to make sure that you reestablish credit. The VA is very clear that you have to have reestablished credit after the bankruptcy or any derogatory event that's plaguing your credit. You need to be at least 12 months past the derogatory event. Okay. So make sure if you have filed bankruptcy, it's not going to exclude you. Just make sure that you pull your credit report after the bankruptcy is finished and make sure that everything got taken care of, because a lot of times you'll find that when you file bankruptcy, the attorney, he's going to go in immediately and hit all the creditors with a bankruptcy notice so they quit calling on you. It's the right thing to do, right? But the attorney is not going to go in and clean all that stuff up off your credit. That's going to be on you. And that's one thing that I see a lot of people go through bankruptcy, still have negative items on their credit. You need to make sure it's your responsibility because it's your credit. Nice if the attorney does it for you, but in most cases, the attorney doesn't do it all, okay? I still see items all the time and I'll review somebody's credit report and they're like, well, that should have been included in the bankruptcy. I'm sorry, it wasn't. You need to make sure that all the items are included on your bankruptcy. And then even after the bankruptcy, you need to make sure that everything on your credit is reported accurately. If you settled with somebody and it's included under bankruptcy, you need to make sure that the disposition on the credit report is accurately stated. Now, you have the right for your credit report to be accurate. So if your credit report is not accurate, I recommend you can either do it yourself, or I always recommend working with a credit repair professional, somebody that can go in and surgically remove items that are inaccurate on your credit. Now, I work with a guy that I've been working with for, I think 15 years now. He's the best in the country. I'll be glad to refer you to my buddy, Devin Norcross. Can't speak highly enough about him. And it's very desperately needed after bankruptcy. 98% of the time, if you file bankruptcy, you're going to need somebody to go in and make some corrections to your credit. I hope this helps. Like I said, bad things happen to good people. It's not going to prevent you from getting a loan, but we just need to make sure that you got your I's dotted and T's crossed. I'll be glad to look at your credit report with you and tell you where you're at or where you need to be. And it's not going to prevent you from buying a house after your 2-year mark. All right.